Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, Painting with Elizabeth. Today I wanted to do a painting that was a little different, and it's pretty simple, but one thing that I've done differently is I'm painting over a painting that I had before. And a lot of people throw away their canvases or do something else with them because they think they're ruined or they don't like them. But you can always paint over them. You can paint over them numerous times. And there's different ways to clean them, and I'll give you little tips as we go along through the painting lessons on things like that, as I did last time. This is the second one, and I hope I learned from my last one some things I could do better. So hopefully this will be better. This one is a picture of a dog, and he's up really close. So what I've done is I've drawn him out, and then I painted a little around the outside, which would give you the idea of the sketch of the dog. And then I went ahead and put in a little white in the area of the mouth and the neck area so that you could kind of see what we were going for. I didn't want to paint any more than that because I wanted to show you all of that. But hopefully you'll get an idea from this of how you can go back on a painting and change it, fix it, or just totally start over. And that's what I'm doing with this one. This was just something that just had some colors on it, and it was the perfect size for this picture. So today we're going to use, the palette will be some thick black paint. I use thick, and then I use some of the thin paint for different reasons. So the thick paint will be mostly for laying in color and texture and things like that. And sometimes you need something a little thinner to flow, like with the script liner, or something like mostly the fur, small strokes, things like that. But we're using the dark black in the thick and the dark black in the light, the thin. And we're using a little bit of burnt sienna. We're using a thick white, and we may use a little raw umber. I wasn't sure I wanted that, so I put it out. And a little bit of ultramarine blue that we may use. Sometimes you start a painting and then you see that it needs something, and I wanted to have everything that we would be using. Okay. Our brushes that we'll be using are, and we may not use all of these, but we'll use, one we used last time, it was a little broader bristle brush for background use, and I used that to put in this outer part, so we may not use it again. And then we need a round bristle brush, kind of a good size, medium size. Then we want a flat, soft brush, a smaller, flat, soft brush, a round, soft brush, a flat, small bristle brush, a small detail soft brush, and a script liner brush. So the first thing I'm going to do is, well, let me explain a little bit about it. The outer part is just some slashes of color, and I used some beige and some white and just put that in. And then I used a little bit of a creamier white to fill this area in, just so you could see what we were going for. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with this bristle brush and into the thicker white, and we're going to put the white in. Now this dog has white around his nose and his jowls and down his neck and the front. And one of the reasons we put that in first is so that some of the other colors and the other fur come over it. And you want to put this in first because of that. And we're going to do it in the direction that the fur would go. So I'm painting in that direction. Some of it would go down, some of it would turn. And you can let it come outside the lines. You want that fur look because that's really what makes this dog so cute. He's up close and he's very shaggy, very cute. I'm not sure what kind of dog he is. I would hate to guess, but I'm going to go ahead. I think it's some kind of a spaniel, but I'm not sure. So it doesn't matter. You can make things up when you're painting. That's some of the fun of being an artist, is the things that you're allowed to do that you're normally not allowed to do. Everyone seemed to enjoy my last video. I got a lot of comments on it and a lot of views, and people wanting more. I'm adding a lot of texture here. I like texture because that would be like where the paint raises up, where the brush pushes it to the side. And I like that because it just gives it so much depth. And I'll try to bring it closer at the end so you can see a few more things. I didn't do that last time. I'm trying to learn each time. But I love the texture because it just gives you some three dimension. And I really love that part of it. And all you have to do is just use a lot of paint and follow the direction that it would fall in. And you get this great texture. I can see it. I just love this. I get excited over small things when I'm painting. I enjoy it so much. Okay, bring it back. You can just really see that. When I get it up close to you, you get a better look. And you don't have to do as much to get that texture to show if you can get the paint to do it. All right, I'm going to continue down. Now, he will have, this is going to be his nose area right here. Then this will be the part that comes down, and his mouth line will go this way. So this right here is the bottom part of his mouth. So I'm going to paint upwards, try to get some texture there too. But I'm going to leave a little bit of a line so that you can see that that's where we're going to put the mouth in. So now I'm just going to add a little more texture to that area. Okay. Now we'll work coming on down the neck. We'll give it some longer strokes. Pick up lots of paint, keeping that texture idea going. Give it some longer strokes. I thought what I might do in some of my future paintings is to, I want to do a children's one next. And then I thought what I might do is do some of the more extended landscapes and do it in parts, because it suggested that you do your videos for about 30 minutes and to keep people's attention. And my classes usually run 3 hours. So I thought after I do this one and the children's video, then what I might do is do maybe a 3 or 4 part landscape. And we'll see what you like. You have to let me know. And don't forget to subscribe, because I'm getting the numbers on how many views, and we had over 100 in 3 days. So I was really surprised at that. But if you subscribe, then you'll get a notification when I put out a new one, and also it lets me know that you enjoyed it. So I would appreciate you doing that. You just hit that subscribe button. Okay, so I think that does pretty well right there. Now let's go ahead and block in some of the black, and then we will change some of the other and give it a little more highlight and shadow. I want to leave room for the burnt sienna. I think I'm going to change my mind and go back and put the burnt sienna in, and then do the black. So I'm going to use this small bristle brush. I'm going to pick up the burnt sienna. And that's kind of a muddy color, right over his eyes right here. And I'm just going to rub that in a little bit. You don't want that even at all. He has this little bit of burnt sienna over his eyes. It gives him some expression, I think, is part of what I like about this little dog. I always try to pick something that I like to paint. So I will be excited about it, and then I feel that you will be too, and it usually works out. Okay, he has it over his eyes. There's a touch of it right here, but not very much. It's a little here. If you get off and put it somewhere else, that's fine. If it gets into the white, it turns a little lighter. Got a little bit over this way on this side. And we never try to go exactly by a picture. It's just a suggestion. That's why I'm not even really showing it up close, because you don't want to copy anything exactly. You want to make it your own, and that's what you always want to remember. I'm going to bring that down just a little bit. And then right under the mouth area, we'll put some on both sides. And it's blending with the white now. So, because it's going over that white, and it's blending to be a lighter color. So it gives you another shade. And I'm going to add some of that white up in here into this part, so you make it stand out a little bit more. We'll be breaking it out with the black, so that's not what we're going to end up with. Okay. And just a touch down this way. All right, we'll stop with that. All right, next, I want to put the I'm going to put the black in his eyes, because I want his eyes to dry just a little bit before we do the last part. And we're going to use that thick black. And I've drawn out the outline, but we're going to have a little bit of the white showing in the eye. So where he's turned and he's looking, that you see the white in that. And so it's going to be on this side, and of course then it would be on that side. Use the white, let's use the black. So you paint in the black for the eyes, and this is a soft, flat brush. You want this to be solid and pretty smooth and to cover well. You may want to go back and put more on it. He has big eyes, and that's good. They'll give us a lot of expression. I've noticed something in my painting, in my teaching this last year, that I never really thought very much about, but I've really enjoyed learning that, is that when we paint animals, they have so many features like humans do, and like the other animals do. They have legs. I mean, there's occasions that there's differences, but mostly they have eyes, nose, a mouth, ears, legs. And so how can there be so many animals and so many people, and they all have the same features? And it's because that the features vary so much, but we all have pretty much the same features. So that's why sometimes you find it hard to do animals, is because if you don't get their legs and their feet and all their features in exactly the right place for the animal that it is, then you end up having trouble with that animal. So what I'm trying to get at is, I found out this last year, I just kind of paid attention and noticed that when you do animals, if you do what I call an animal portrait, and that's what this is, and that's where you just do the face, the head shot, then you're up close, and any little movement that you make, any difference, and everybody's painting is always different, any little difference that you make in it makes a what would you say, it shows the personality. And so we may all be painting the same thing, and it always comes out different. It's that way with our landscapes or anything else. But in the animals, you can really show the personality, whether you mean to or not, just by one little change in stroke on the eye, or the mouth, or anything. So I just find that very, very interesting. And it's a lot of fun in class because you can see what other people come up with. And especially the children, when they're painting the animals, they love to paint animals. And if you let them paint just the face of the animal, portrait, it can really show the personality. And that's just been a lot of fun, especially at the end, for everyone to hold up their paintings and to see what they look like. And I'll always encourage them to name their animals too. Okay, so I've got the nose in. Of course, we'll be putting in some highlights and things later. And while I have a little bit of black on this brush, I'm going to take some white and I'm going to make a gray out of it. And I'm going to go in a few places and add that. Now right here where his mouth is, I'm going to put that in. I'm sorry, that's not the mouth. I meant under the chin. So there's a little shadow under the chin there, just a little bit. And then where the mouth is, do the same thing. Maybe just a bit darker. Little bitty strokes. Just touch and kind of pull down a little bit. If you make your brush strokes in the direction that it turns, the object turns, then it will look more realistic. So like the lip would turn down. So I'm making my strokes down, even though they're small, they're going down. And I just find that's more realistic. Okay. Now I want to go back with a little bit darker and just get that area tapped in that is deeper, so it doesn't look just like a smudged area. I just want to tap that in. You don't want that line and you don't want that smile. Okay, you need a little bit of gray right here under the nose. All of these little things like this add to the picture. I think that's good enough. And we might add just a little bit up here. Just anywhere that you feel like it may have faded out some, you can pull some in, pull this down a little, and blend it in a little bit with the burnt sienna. Now coming over this way, I have an idea to try something. We'll try it and see if it works. Sometimes I like to put a little blue with the gray. I just think it breaks it up and it looks good. It's not enough blue to show there. I wanted to put a little bit on this side. Like a lighter gray, a little bit of blue. We'll just break it up just a little bit here and there with that blue gray. I don't want to do too much in this area because I want to keep that texture. Maybe just a bit right there. Oh yeah, that looks good. Okay, that's looking really good now. All right. This in the water, let my water down here, move things around, hoping that'll be a little bit better. So now we're going to take a little detail brush. We're going to go into the white. We're going to work on the eyes a little bit. Okay, first we want white showing in the opposite direction that the dog is looking. He's looking this way. That looks good. He has big black eyes. Maybe a little brown in them later. We'll see. Okay, I think that looks good. Let's try putting a little of the raw umber in with the black. Yeah, that looks good because his eyes look a little more natural, a little softer. So I just took some raw umber and just brushed it in at the top of the black. Okay. Now let me clean this brush and use it again. You want highlights in the eyes. And a lot of people think that you just put a dot. And maybe sometimes that is the case, but I usually don't do that. I found this technique to be very, very, very useful. So I like this. So this is what we're going to do. Take some white on this little brush, and our highlight is going to come from the right top. So I'm going to touch it and pull like a comma stroke. I'm going to give him a good highlight on his eye. And I think that that really shows the eye off. Sometimes when the light comes in an object, it always comes out somewhere. So it would come out on the opposite. I'm going to make that darker. So that would be here. I'm going to see if this, yes. You see how that really brought his eyes out? I love that. I love that. So we're going to do the same thing here. And you always want your highlight to be on the same side. And this is on the top right because that's where the light is. The light may not be there, but wherever it is, that's where your brightest light comes from. And you want it to be the same on both. And then it has to come out somewhere. And I find it helps to, I call it smudging, just to make it a little softer. Doesn't his eyes look so real? That looks so good. Sorry, I get excited about those things. All right, now we're going to get into black, and that's really going to pull them together. I'm thinking of using, don't want to use that big brush right away. I want a clean one of these. I'm going to use this, to start with, this medium bristle brush. And I'm going to go straight into the thick black. And we're going to start up here, and we're going to follow the direction that the fur would go. And when we get near something that we put color on, like I'm near that burnt sienna, paint around it. Now right along the eye, it's a little more difficult. But remember, you can pull that black down into the other fur. That's why we put it in first. So as I reach another color, I'm painting in the direction that the fur would go, but as I reach another color, I let it go ahead and blend in, because that's why we put the white down, and then the burnt sienna, and then the black, is because they layer over each other. You'll also pick up a little of the other colors, and that even looks good too, because the fur does, the fur does that. Turning the brush a little bit to the side as I'm doing this now, so that I'll have more streaks in it. I want to get some of this detail part, excuse me, out of the way. You see, I'm just cutting, call it cutting into the burnt sienna there is coming together very well now. Following the direction that it would flow. We'll be putting some highlights and other color in that black too, to show where the ears are and all the turns and things. It won't be so flat. But this square canvas, this is a 12 by 12, and I just really like the square canvas because for something like this, because if it's going to be up close and fit in the canvas that way, it just looks good on the 12 by 12. Okay, now right here we're getting close to where the ears are going, the fur is going to come in a little bit. And some of this is not an ear. It's not the ears. It's the fur. So you see, I'm just going to pull that in, and then all of this that's left will become the ear. See how good we're doing? Painted right over that other one. You want to think about what's under there, though. I mean, you know, some colors don't go over other colors. You can always put gesso. Gesso is a blend of glue and chalk, and you buy it as gesso. Most people don't make their own. You can, but what it is it's a primer. In other words, that like you would use primer for, and it covers and gives you a good base. So, but I know what colors will go over which one, so sometimes I use it and sometimes I don't. And I knew what I was using today would go over this, so that's why I decided to use this one. But if you're doing something and you don't think it's going to go over, like if it's got dark areas and you're going to be using some light, then yes, I would gesso it, and then save you a lot of work. He's looking like a dog now, isn't he? Well, I just think he's so cute. So at this point, you go around and see what looks good and what doesn't, what covered, what didn't, what needs a little more paint, a little more brush strokes. This brush has done fairly well for this whole area here. It's the flat bristle. I'm just going to go over it and see that everything looks like it's covered well. Again, if I can get some texture in there, I will. I'm getting some there now. Careful around the eyes. Got some white in there. I'll just carry that over. Let's see if my shape looks good. I think so. Cut into this a little more jagged. It's not so smooth. Oh, he's so cute, isn't he? All right. Let me put this down. Okay, I want to get that script liner. Now that's that thin, long one we spoke about last time. That's the one that's the only one that you put the water with. If you feel uncomfortable about the script liner for this little thing right here, you can use just the smallest brush that you have. But what we're going to do is put a highlight under the eye. So I have to be quiet while I do that. Smudge just a little bit. Because where the light hits the eyelid underneath, I steady my hand with my little finger. Okay. Put a little bit on the top. Okay, now we want to work on the nose a little bit. Nose, we just colored black, and it's not the end of it. So the next thing you want to do is you got to have nostrils. Now the nostrils, of course, are holes, and that's dark, and his nose is dark. So when you paint something dark and you're trying to create the illusion that you need of the light hitting it, then the bottom of the nostrils are going to catch the light. So I'm going to, some of that gray, and try not to touch that white, it's so thick. So what I've done is I've painted the bottom part of the nostril. And that's where the light would hit. I feel like I've put a little too much, so I'm going to go back with the black and take that down just a little bit on the sides. So I'm taking the black and I'm just taking off a little of that at the top. Yeah, so now you see the nostrils. Now we need a little bit of highlight on the top of the nose, and it curves, so you want the highlight to curve also. And that gives you the appearance that his nose is shiny, which it is. Okay, I think that looks good. Alright, so at this point, I want to look at his ears. I want to take that script line. Now this time I do need script line because you need some fluid strokes, and you want to break up that black a little bit. So I'm going to make some white and black to make a gray. I'm going to thin it down. I might put a little blue in it too. I did. I put some blue in it. And I'm mixing it with the script liner. And now I'm going to take 3 drops of water. That's what we spoke about last time. That thins it down. A little more white. And then what you'll do is you will twirl the brush and pull. Twirl and pull. Twirl and pull. And that's going to load that brush really full with this color. You can paint long strokes that you couldn't normally get with any other brush. I just want to put in some highlights here. Look at that. Can you tell I love what I do? looking at some little areas and putting in some of this highlight, because there would be. And it breaks the black up a little bit. It doesn't look so flat. But we've given it a lot of texture as it is, but this helps a lot. More than I wanted to. In one area, I'll go back and fix that. Right here, I put more than I wanted to. So you just take the black and you take it out. And go back to the gray. Right above the eye, gives him a little personality. For some reason, if his eyes look like they're raised, it's like he's making an expression. Could be a she. Well, I've already called him a he, so it's a he. So at this point, you just look it over and see if there's any little spots that look like they need a little highlight. You don't want to overdo it. That is one of my major faults, and it's one of my students' main problems they talk to me about all the time. And it's because when you do something that works and you get excited about it, you just want to keep going, and then you ruined it. So you need to know when to stop. And I would say you stop when you think you've almost got it. Then go ahead and stop before you go too far. I think I want to break up this little bit right here a bit. Taking some black and breaking into the burnt sienna. I'm going to break this a bit. I like that look of the blue with the black and the white. I think that looks really good. And a little drop of water. That water will dry out on you, and you'll have to add 3 more drops before you're done. But that's the script liner, and the script liner only. I want to add a little bit of black up near the top. Maybe just a little near his mouth. In the center. You don't want that long smile. You just want to show that there is a separation there. Yeah, that looks good. Stroke on the end there. I think that we are done. That went faster than I imagined, and I like it. I think it went really well. I'll bring it a little closer to you. I'll let you see it. It's a little glare from the window there. But that is our painting for today. Isn't he cute? He looks so good. Can you see the texture in the white? I don't think you can because of the glare. Let's see. That's a little bit better. Okay. Well, we have another successful painting. Let me know if you like it. And if you do, I'll do some more. All right? Thank you.